Hi, my name is Josie, and this is
Megan,
Today we'll be talking about the controversial hot topic of equal pay.
specifically targeting the gender gaps. The Equal Pay Act is the labor law that prohibits gender-based wage discrimination in the United States.
Signed by President Kennedy in 1963 as an amendment to the Fair Labor Standards Act, the law mandates equal pay for equal work by forbidding employers from paying men and women different wages or benefits.
Following closely in 1964, the Civil Rights Act was passed that declared it illegal for employers to discriminate based on race. However, income disparities have not flattened out.
After the passage of the act, the wage gap for minority groups narrowed, both in absolute difference with white wages and as a percentage of white wages, until the mid-1970s. At this time, progress for many racial minorities slowed, stopped, or reversed.
As of 2009, the median weekly wage for African American and Hispanic workers was about 65% and 61% of that of white workers, respectively. Asian workers' median wage was about 110% that of white workers.
Equal pay 55 years later has become better, but still struggles with the gender pay gap that affects all women, especially women of color.
Under the regulations of the Equal Pay Act, employees who believe they are being discriminated can either file a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission or directly sue their employer in court. Combined with increased education and career opportunities for women, these regulations have been credited with helping to narrow the gender wage gap in the United States.
In 1942, for example, the National War Labor Board endorsed policies to provide equal pay in instances where women were directly replacing male workers. 3 years later, in 1945, the U.S. Congress introduced the Women's Equal Pay Act, which would have made it illegal to pay women less than men for work of comparable quality and quantity. The measure failed to pass, however, and despite campaigns by women's groups, little progress was made on pay equity during the 1950s. By 1960, women still earn less than 2/3 of what their male counterparts were paid. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi joined several Democratic congressional leaders on Wednesday to announce that they are reintroducing the Paycheck Fairness Act. She introduced the legislation meant to bolster equal pay protections for women and strengthen the Equal Pay Act of 1963. Called the Paycheck Fairness Act, which was first introduced in 1997, would ensure that people doing the same work would receive the same pay, thereby helping to close the wage gap. Employers that pay employees different amounts for the same jobs would be required to demonstrate a cause for that discrepancy other than gender. It would also guarantee working women the right to challenge pay discrimination. Additionally, the Paycheck Fairness Act would end the practice of pay secrecy. Okay. Tell us your opinion on equal pay.
I think pay should definitely be something that's earned. If you weren't already aware about teachers are paid based off of years of experience instead of gender or even qualifications or how good of a teacher they are. So you could have a really bad teacher right there get paid the same as somebody who does really well and does good test scores. While it's not the most perfect program, it at least it makes it a more level playing field as far as gender. And I definitely don't feel cheated because I know I'm making just as much as Mr. Drews down the hallway. I don't actually know that I'm doing that, but
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I do believe that women and men should have equal pay because that's only fair. Like, throughout history, it seems like every act that we try to put in is to reach towards fairness. So if you want to be completely fair, then it would only be equal pay for the different genders.
So does every woman deserve equal pay?
Absolutely.
That's
Megan?
You're lying.
Elaborate on equal pay.
Tell us your truth.
I believe if everyone is doing the same amount of work, everyone should be paid equally.
I agree.
Like, our whole economy is run by men.
Yeah. What's your opinion on equal pay? Should men get paid more than women?
No,
Why?
it's not fair.
Can you give us your opinion on equal pay?
My opinion on equal pay is that you get paid for the job that you apply for. Thank you.
18 to 24 get paid more than any other group. Because money is good. Equal pay sucks.